And today we're going to talk about some recent developments that we're seeing from pricing front in the cloud computing world. So, Abby, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk with suppliers like AWS and some new functionality that they built in. So in the past, a lot of the billing that was done was at a macro level. Companies were seeing how much they were consuming, and it was at a very high level.
Absolutely. I think we see that all the time with some of our software clients that they're just, pushing out a bill for a couple $1,000,000 every single month to either to Microsoft or AWS or one of those big suppliers.
Now, what the functionality that they've actually introduced is they're able to track at a much more granular level. Well, how much are the users consuming by transaction, by instance? And with this increased level of granularity on what those costs are, I think the view is that their customers can see what those costs are and be able to pass them on to their customers as well.
Now, that's kind of dangerous, though, because I think when you start thinking about that cost, it's a great minimum bottom floor, but you got to be really careful because if you just start looking at that cost, we might be going backwards back to a cost-based pricing model.
Say is really important because it's that knee-jerk reaction because we've dealt with a lot of companies that they had envisioned a certain profitability. And then when they look at how much data is consumed, that margin is different. And they're saying, hey, this is getting out of hand. Now, what we don't want to happen is exactly, I'm going to look at my costs, I'm going to bake a margin on it, and that's it. I think we really need to focus on what value are we driving to those end customers for that data that's being consumed, and how do we have this actually properly structured into our office?
This reminds me a lot of what we're seeing with a lot of some of our work around AI pricing and the use of ChatGPT. So given that it's a token-based system, really the cost can vary a lot. If someone has, 1 or 2 sentence conversation with the AI bot, very, very cheap, but we see companies struggling because sometimes someone will have like a 40-minute conversation with the AI bot and the cost grows astronomically. So it's really interesting that we're seeing this shift towards more understanding of that cost when some of the new technology is very unpredictable from a cost standpoint.
And that's a great point. And really, if they're just gauging that based on the data that's consumed, it's going to be very unitary. But, you talk about a 2-minute discussion if you're inquiring on your credit card bill versus a 40-minute discussion if we're talking about a new car purchase.
Yeah.
Well, drastically different values that you're creating for that end customer. And then thinking about how do you monetize that as a supplier as well.
Yeah, absolutely great stuff to think about. And I think the number one thing is understanding your cost. It's really important, but it's not the only thing that should be going into your decision.
Definitely.
All right. Thanks everyone.